What we're going to do is we're going to look at more properties of exponents. We're going to look at the quotient property. Quotient property states that when we divide common bases, what we do is we subtract the exponents. An example of this is if we have 2 to the 5th, that would be 5 2's multiplied together. 2 to the 3rd is 3 2's multiplied together. And then what we normally do is we just cancel the 2's and we see that there are 2 remaining. So that would be 2 squared, which is 4. In the same way, 5 to the 4th would be 4 5's, and 5 to the 3rd would be 3 5's. And we see that when we cancel them, we just get a 5. Once again, what we could have done is gone 4 minus 3, which is 1, or 5 to the 1. In the same way, x to the 7th is 7x's, and then x to the 9th is 9x's. Notice how much work this is to write it out. And if we cancel them, what we notice is that we have 2 x's. 9 minus 7 is 2. But notice that the x's are in the denominator. So we have to make sure that we have the x squared in the denominator. So we always want to bring the least value to the greatest value. So when we're looking at letter C, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the x's, and I see that there are more x's on top. So I put the x on top. This is a 4, this is a 1. 4 minus 1 is 3. There's more y's on the bottom, so I put the y on the bottom. 3 minus 2 gives me 1, or I can just put y. In the same way, I'm going to take the 2/4, I'm going to reduce it to 1/2. 5 minus 2 is 3. Notice that there's more x's on the top, so I put x to the 3rd on top. 7 minus 3 is 4. Notice once again, there are more y's on top, so that would be y to the 4th on top. And that would be my answer. Let's look at a few more examples. Here, I see that there are more 3's on the bottom, so I put the 3 on the bottom. 8 minus 4 is 4. I put a 1 as a placeholder. 3 to the 4th is 81, so my answer is 1 over 81. I see there's more x's on top, so I put the x in the numerator. 10 minus 5 gives me 5. Looking at the x's, there's more x's on top. There's one more, so I put 1x on the top. There's more y's on the bottom, so I put the y on the bottom. 7 minus 2 gives me 5. Looking at letter H, I'm going to take the 12/15, I'm going to reduce it. They both have a 3 in common, so if I divide it by 3, I get 4 over 5. If I subtract the x's, there's 2 on top. If I subtract the y's, there are 6 on the bottom. Now, for the second example, we're going to look at 2 steps. First, we're going to use product property, and we're going to multiply the numerator. Then we're going to multiply the denominator. And then what we're going to do is the same thing that we did before. So when we multiply, we add the exponents. 4 plus 2 gives us 6. 3 plus 6 gives us 9. 5 plus 1 gives us 6. And 2 plus 1 gives us 3. We see that the x's cancel. They have the same amount of x's. And with the y's, there's more on top. And 9 minus 3 gives me 6. So that would be my final answer. With letter B, I'm going to multiply across. 2 times 2 is 4. Add the x's, that would be x to the 4th. Add the y's, that would be y to the 9th. 3 times 3 is 9. Add the x's, that would be 8. Add the y's, that would be 5. Now I'm going to do the division. And remember, when I do the division, what I'm going to do is subtract the exponents. 8 minus 4 is 4. Notice that there's more x's in the denominator. 9 minus 5 is 4 also, but there's more y's in the numerator, so I put 4 y's in the numerator. Letter C, when I multiply, I add the exponents. 3 plus 1 gives me 4. 1 plus 4 gives me 5. 5 plus 4 gives me 9. 5 plus 1 gives me 6. Now, whenever I divide, I subtract the exponents. Notice I have more x's in the denominator, so I put the x in the denominator, and there are 5 more. The y's, there's more in the denominator, so I put the y in the denominator. There's 1 more. Remember, when we have everything in the denominator, we have 1 as the placeholder, letting everybody know that these values are in the denominator, not the numerator. For our last one, 2 times 3 gives us 6. X squared is x to the third. We add our exponents. 5 plus 7 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. We add the x's, x to the fourth. We add the y's, that would be y to the eighth. 6's cancel. There are more x's in the denominator, so I put the x in the denominator. There are more y's in the numerator. 12 minus 8 is 4, and that gives me my final answer.